First set for the 127 meeting between these two teams. And G tried to save it, gets it right back to Tinsley.
Brad, you mentioned Vanderbilt's injuries. George Drake, a starter, a 6'4" junior guard, a hip pointer yesterday in practice, not able to go today in the shoot-around, so Kevin Stallings has to go back to a more traditional size lineup.
He's got more size with Azili and Ogilvie in there, two 6'11" guys. Kevin in his 10th season at Vanderbilt. And Philip Pearson, the interim head coach, in his third game as a head coach, right behind Carl Hess. There's Bill. And, of course, Mark Gottfried, his resignation a couple of weeks ago. One of two shakeups in the SEC that week, the other being Dennis Felton being removed at Georgia. So we got a couple of interim coaches that went at it in Pete Herman and Philip Pearson in their last game. And Philip got the best of that. Here's a turnover by the Commodores. And Alabama comes down, airmails a three. And it's going to be kept alive by the Tide.
Brad, think about Philip Pearson. His third game as a head coach. His first game was at Arkansas. Then he gets his second game under his belt at home. And now his third game, he's coaching 94 feet away from his club. He has seen everything already in his first three games as a head coach.
Exactly. Justin Knox knocks down the first basket of the ball game.
I think it's important for Vanderbilt to run crisp offense to see if Bama's going to break down after 3 or 4 passes.
Taylor, a nice offensive rebound, but didn't get the bucket underneath. Still kept alive. They almost got a third try. But out comes Hillman. And he's going to pull up and take the three and got it. Scenario Hillman. That's only his 15th three-pointer of the year. And it gives Alabama a 5-0 run to open.
Brad, but he knocked down 3 in their last ball game, so he comes in with a confident stroke right now. Vanderbilt may have to adjust their defense a little bit on Hillman, normally known as a terrific driver.
Taylor in traffic and fouled. Going to be on G.
Alabama's number 12, Alonzo G. That is his first. Team second.
And it's going to send Vanderbilt to the free throw line. Jeff Taylor, 68% free throw shooter. He's had a good week. Averaged in the last 2 games 18.5 a game. 8 rebounds and 3.5 assists, so he's playing some of his better ball right now.
Brad, he's really aggressive for a freshman. He's athletic enough. We've told the story before. He hit his head on the rim in a preseason pickup game, and that's not the explosiveness that Vanderbilt has been known for over the years. He brings a new dimension to Kevin Stallings this year in that 6'7" body of his.
Part of a very young team. And quickly on the other end, we got a foul on Taylor. So he hits 2 free throws and then picks up his first foul.
You know, when he fouled Alonzo G, the senior for Alabama, and boy, how difficult is it to go through a coaching change in the middle of your senior year? And it's not easy on any kid, but especially Alonzo G that has spent all that time with Mark Gottfried, and then all of a sudden his boss is taken away and he has to make an adjustment. Philip Pearson said he has made a terrific adjustment leading this ball club right now.
Offensive foul on Green.
Foul is on Alabama's number 32, Jermichael Green. That
should be the building block for Alabama for whoever the next head coach is, Jermichael Green.
He's going to be good. Coming off a career-high 13 rebounds against Georgia, Jermichael Green. Big kid with a lot of talent and a huge upside. Here's Tinsley, long ball. Got it. Whoa, did that rip the net?
Brad, that's good crisp offense that time by Vanderbilt. 3 passes. Got a good headhunter screen action for Tinsley. He caught it with his shoulders facing the rim. Didn't have to take time to square up. Just terrific execution.
Tied at 5. Hillman, a lot of dribbling as he finally got it down to the baseline, and now they bring it back outside. 10 on the shot clock for Alabama. Andy playing good defense until right there they find Green inside.
Boy, a good tough catch by Green in traffic. Kid's got a lot of size, really soft paws. That would have been an easy ball for him to fumble. I think Vanderbilt's really a good screening offense. They haven't incorporated in their half-court attack.
Whoa. Team gang with a brick. Baseline, the extra pass underneath, and Ogilvie got up in the air. And he picks up the foul.
I talked about Brad Tinsley on that 2 possessions ago. When he catches this basketball, he is shot ready. And Ogilvie does a good job on the timing as he catches that ball. They're going to get a reversal, pin down, boom. When he caught it and shot it, he was in position to shoot that basketball. Good timing in their offense for Vanderbilt.
Tinsley, a 40% three-point shooter and the top three-point shooter on the Vanderbilt team. There's your Michael Green and his numbers, and he's off to a 4-point start. Green, one of those guys that's just getting better and better. The last 3 games have been the best 3 that he's played all year. And these freshmen, while they're still listed as freshmen at this point of the season, they're not as green as they were way back in November.
No, even if your last name is Green, you're still not as green as you were 4 months ago. This league is green.
Boy,
you talk about the youth in this league. Another reason why they probably have come back a little bit in the national perspective. You can't be this young from top to bottom in this league and not take a little bit of a hit.
Vandy's one of those teams in the league that gets 0% of its points from its seniors because they don't have any. Tennessee's the same way. There's a lot of clubs in this league that are junior and down oriented.
Our game on Super Tuesday. Just one senior on the floor for both ball clubs between Florida and South Carolina. This is a league that is built for the future.
Here's Taylor, part of the future for Vandy. Had it rejected by Green. His 33rd block shot of the year. So Green playing well both offensively and defensively here in the opening 5 minutes.
Vanderbilt straight man-to-man so far in this ball game. I think they'll sprinkle in some zone, especially if Bama has success running inside right now through their half-court offense.
Gee, tough shot, air ball. Green trying to save it. Down goes our cameraman. Almost right into Kevin Stallings. 15-11 to go first half. Alabama on the road. A 2-point lead right now for the hometown Commodores. Commodores down 2 on our Thursday night showcase presented by T. Rowe Price. We mentioned the youth in the Southeastern Conference this year. We were talking about it a couple of minutes ago. And when you take a look at the points by seniors this season, South Carolina, that's mostly who, Jimmy?
That's Sam Frederick.
Right.
And for Florida, that's Walter Hodge. For Kentucky, that's 3 points total on the year by Jared Carter.
And Tennessee and Vandy's got nothing from their seniors. You got to have seniors to get any point production from your seniors.
And all those teams in the SEC East. And I really feel, Brad, that the SEC East is going to produce at least 3 NCAA tournament teams. The SEC West will produce 1. That looks like LSU right now. Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina will fight it out in that SEC East. Don't be surprised that a 5th one might not sneak in when it's all said and done.
Isn't it going to be interesting on our Tuesday night game at Kentucky? Kentucky coming off a loss has a week to stew about it. Florida, after their win over South Carolina, has a week to get ready to go on the road at Rupp. On our Super Tuesday, that'll be interesting next week.
Billy Donovan's return to Kentucky. That's a very meaningful ball game. Kentucky right now just in a tailspin, losing like they have. And anytime you only have 2 scorers like Patterson and Meeks, makes it tough.
Goldborn, who's had health problems and injury problems, coming off the bench to tie the game at 9.
Playing tonight with a stress reaction in his pelvic bone. He's the only real perimeter sub, although he's 6'8", that Kevin Stallings has to work with tonight.
Kevin telling us before the game, I got a guy out there with a stress fracture who's had mono the first 5 weeks of the season. As a Southeastern Conference standings, that might be a lot to gather for you, but you can see that Florida is atop the East with Tennessee and Kentucky next in line, and South Carolina as well keeping pace. And as Jimmy mentioned, LSU looks like the team to beat right now in the West.
LSU might be playing as well as anyone overall in the SEC.
Here's a pull-up. Hillman. And he gets the rebound. Goldborn pulls it down, and now Beal on the other end with a 3, and he got it.
Well, you got to guard him now. You just let him rhythm dribble that ball up the floor into a wide open look. One of the better three-point shooters, if not the best three-point shooter Vanderbilt can put on the floor.
Vandy's got its first lead, up by 3, courtesy of Jermaine Beal's 3. Reminder, men's college basketball on Saturday. A couple of great matchups for you, 6 o'clock Eastern. Number 1 team, the UConn Huskies, taking on the Wolverines of Michigan. Then at 9, it's Saturday Night Primetime presented by DirecTV. As 15th-ranked Memphis takes on number 18 Gonzaga on the road. That's our doubleheader for you on Saturday night.
Tyreek Evans from Memphis playing outstanding basketball at that point guard, and this is the point guard for Vanderbilt, Brad, but he's also a shooter. Just a miscommunication. It looked like Vanderbilt did a good job of recognizing that Alabama, they didn't know what defense they were in. It looked like 3 guys playing zone, 2 guys playing man, nobody guarding Beal, and he sticks it on him.
Jermaine, 44% from three-point land. We talked about Tinsley being a good three-point shooter. He has the most threes, but the best percentage on the team belongs to Jermaine, and he just showed it on that one to give his team a 3-point lead.
Come on, if I'm Vanderbilt, I don't get out and overplay above that three-point line until Alabama shows that they can knock down enough to win this ball game. I would shrink the floor defensively and take away their inside game.
That's a wicked-looking shot. Rebounded, though, and scored, and a chance for a old-fashioned three-point play.
Brad, that's another reason to shrink the floor, because you can force some tough twos from Alabama and then put yourself in better rebounding position. Tinsley rotates down, but he doesn't rotate down and get in front of a body. It's one thing to rotate to a position on the floor. It's another thing to have an awareness of where red jerseys are. Tinsley did not know.
Demetrius Jemison with a chance now for a three-point play. Hasn't been to the line that many times this year. He's already on his average with that score, and now over it with 3 points off the bench, and he heads to the bench on the far end, and Green comes back in.
Brad, you know a thing I like about Philip Pearson as the interim head coach? He has gone to a rotation where all 10 scholarship guys are now playing, something that they weren't maybe doing under Mark Gottfried. And I think it's a good move by Philip Pearson as the interim guy to make everybody feel like, okay, we all have something invested here. So he's keeping everybody's head up, making sure that they all have a purpose to their pattern right now. It's a good move by him.
Keeps everybody involved, no doubt about that. Whistle and a foul on Beal. Philip, Alabama assistant, and before that assisted Mark at Murray State. So overall with him for almost 14 years.
And a graduate assistant at Arkansas Little Rock tells me that he probably shared the same closet that I used when I was a graduate assistant at Arkansas Little Rock back in the days.
Closet.
It's about how big it was. They got a beautiful new facility now. And Arkansas Little Rock, by the way, in the top of their division in the Sun Belt. And Western Kentucky, probably the best 2 teams in that league right now.
Nice ball movement by Vandy. Got it to Ogilvy low. He didn't get it, but the cleanup by Goulburn. Doesn't look like a guy with a stress fracture problem in his hip, does he?
No, not at all. Well, that's what, when good things happen when Ogilvy gets that basketball in his hands, because the red jerseys just get attracted to him with their eyes and they forget about others in that offensive glass.
So we're tied again at 14. G keeps it alive for Alabama. That's what he does best. Great leaper. And the one-hander puts Alabama in front by 2. Tinsley trying to get it to Ogilvy. Comes outside. The 3. Off the mark by Beal. And 3 guys fighting over it. Somebody better give it up. 3 Crimson Tide players all in a hand on it. Hillman. Baseline jumper. Ogilvy will clear it off.
Anytime Bama shoots after one pass and it's a jump shot by Hillman, it's a win for Vanderbilt.
Beal around a pick by Ogilvy. And the rebound will come off to Coleman. Nice look inside by Torrance. But Green had it stripped out of there. And now Green on the baseline.
Oh, that's...
I think maybe G got away with a push there, but he got another offensive rebound in the basket.
Reddy's going to go every time. That's what great offensive rebounders do. That time Tinsley turned to check him out, and G just whipped him. Maybe fouled him, but he also whipped him at the same time.
Ogilvy just not strong enough on that one. Oh, no look pass, and Green with a finish. And the lead goes to 6.
Well, for an Alabama team that hasn't won here in 10, 11, 12 years, they've come in with a lot of confidence early in this ball game.
And knocked out of bounds. As G, couple of offensive boards.
11.
I'm sure Thompson Bowling is rocking, Ryan. It's 20-14 here. Alonzo G didn't push off on that play I said he did, Jimmy.
No, he didn't. Watch right here. Hold it, guys. Brad Tinsley, you got a face guard right here. Brad Tinsley has his back on Alonzo G, and what he should have done is just continue to face guard Alonzo G and not let him get to the offensive glass. Alonzo G just whipped him, and he's going to whip a lot of people if you allow him to be that ultimate garbage man. And against a guy that good, if you're Tinsley, you just face guarding Brad and not worry about, I'm not going to get the rebound, but you're not either.
Alonzo, if you watch the replay, I was wrong. You didn't push off and made a great play. Back-to-back offensive rebounds and buckets by him. He's got 6 points. He's given Alabama the 6-point lead. Beal picks up his dribble. Alabama's doing a nice job defensively down deep under the basket. And they do it again. Turnover. Oh, Tillman had trouble, but and he lost it out of bounds. Only the second turnover by each team here, almost midway through the first half.
Well, Beal just gets too deep, and he's the point guard, and the 2 guard doesn't rotate back, so Vanderbilt very fortunate. Tillman couldn't catch up with that basketball.
Hinkle in the lineup. There's Taylor on the baseline, and he's bumped by Andrew Steele. Alabama has had a hard time coming into this gym. They've lost 9 straight at Memorial Gym. And that's more than 9 years because they don't play every year here. Mark Gottfried never won here on the road. 1990, the last time they were able to win in this building. This building's tough on everybody. Right now, Vandy's making it tough on themselves. They turn it over again.
Well, that time Alabama goes to a zone, and not a lot of teams have ever zoned Vanderbilt in this building because of how well they have shot the basketball over the years. That's not the case this year for Vanderbilt. They can struggle at times knocking down perimeter shots as well. Expect Bama to stay in that zone in this ball game.
Well, you talk about not having seniors and three-pointers and all of that. Vandy doesn't have as many three-pointers right now as Shane Foster had by himself last year. Battle for the rebound. And we're going to have a foul, like Nance says. Going to be on Hinkle. Coming up tomorrow night, NBA Friday on ESPN. Doubleheader, 7:30 Eastern. The Kia NBA shoot-around begins. And then it's the Nuggets and Wizards at 8. The Warriors and Suns follow at 10:30. NBA Friday on ESPN and also on ESPN360.com.
Listen to Ryan Burr back in the studio talk about Pat Summitt tonight. How about her staying power? In her career at Tennessee, there have been 7 U.S. presidents and 6 British prime ministers during that time. She's got some staying power, doesn't she?
Been about 8 Tennessee men's coaches, too, hasn't
Yes, there has. Exactly that many.
Basket by Demetrius Jemison.
Demetrius Jemison off the bench, kind of shocking everybody. He's given Alabama an 8-point lead. And this is a drought now that Vanderbilt's got to do something about here. They got Ogilvie back in the lineup. Tinsley and Beal as well. Let's see if, as Taylor goes to the rack. And he's fouled.
And Alabama shrinking the floor defensively. Last possession, it was a zone. This possession, it was man-to-man. But they're still shrinking the floor. Other than Beal right now, who do you really have to defend on the perimeter? And Tinsley right there talking to Kevin Stallings. And Alabama gambling on the road by shrinking their defense.
And Kevin Stallings yelled Brad to Brad Tinsley, and I looked over there. I thought he was yelling at me. You could hear him the third deck. He's got a great voice for this building. When he doesn't use his voice, he uses the whistle that everybody knows the sound of if you're a Vanderbilt Commodore player. And every head turns, especially when they're playing offense on the opposite end, which is the case right now.
You know what? This is going to be a name that has not been floated out there, and this is just my thoughts on some jobs that are open in this league, Georgia and Alabama. I would have a phone call to Kevin Stallings sitting in this building. You probably couldn't talk him away from Vanderbilt because of the passion of the fan base here. But the job that he has done with a tough academic admission policy and everything else, that guy can flat out coach. And the coaches in this league know what I'm saying is truthful too across the nation. That guy there could get it done about anywhere you turn him loose. He would be worth a phone call if I'm sitting there at Georgia right now.
You talking about Georgia or Alabama or either?
Either.
Okay.
But I'm going to go for Georgia right now because of the recruiting base they have built in there at Atlanta. I think would fit him a little bit better. I don't think you could talk him out of this building, though. I'd sure try.
Tinsley, nice up and under move off the glass. They hadn't had a field goal in about 4 minutes. Tinsley gets him off to Schneid. Now the baseline drive. Ogilvy clears off the miss by Hillman. And here comes Taylor on the other end. Kick out. Beal, three. And I think it's going to be an over the back on Chingan.
Brad, that's a little bit more of the pace that Vanderbilt has to play in this building. They are more of a rip and run offense this year than that pattern half court 4 or 5 passes, spot up and knock down threes. They have to score in transition.
They've cut it to 4 with just over 8 minutes remaining in the first half. Memorial Gym is filled now. At the beginning of the ball game, it was not. There was a lot of traffic hassle outside trying to get in here because they're not accustomed to 6 o'clock local time games. Here's Knox with a jumper.
Basket by Justin Knox.
Knox, who had the first score of the ball game, has got 4 now. And the lead back to 6. Here's Ogilvy. He's got to get involved offensively. Nice shot by Taylor.
And Brad, he was involved as a passer. It was a good job of Taylor. The timing of his cut after the Ogilvy touch of the basketball was outstanding.
Offensive foul on Alabama down low, and I think it's going to be on Jemison. So Vanderbilt showing a little better ball movement here. Getting it out to Taylor from the outside, and the Doors close it down to 4. All right, Ryan, thanks. That's tough news for Elton Brand. And great news for Matt Castle. We talked about the coaching changes in mid-season the last 2 years. John Brady kind of started this thing about a year ago. And then Mark Gottfried and Dennis Felton in the same week at Alabama and Georgia, respectively. So both those programs looking for a new head coach. Dave Hart, I know, is here, the athletic director in waiting at Alabama. Talked to him briefly before the game, said hello. He'll obviously be involved in that process of finding a permanent coach in Tuscaloosa. Boy, Ogilvy just can't finish.
A little bit of contact is bothering him in this ball game.
When you're 6'11", 250, you just got to think that you're 6'11", 250.
That's right. Yep. You know, we touched on it Tuesday night. If you pull the plug midway through the year like Alabama and Georgia did, that's your prerogative as the administration. A lot of things go into those decisions that we don't all know, okay?
There's Dave.
But I do think you're also sending a message that you're not satisfied at all where you are, and you want to go to another level with your basketball. And if that's the case, then I think your next hire has to make a big splash. Not on the day of the press conference, but are you setting yourself up to be a major player in this conference? I think 2 guys right now, Jeff Capel at Oklahoma and Anthony Grant at Virginia Commonwealth, who obviously have a tie-in with one another because Anthony took Jeff's position. But I think those 2 guys will have an opportunity to say no to both of these teams right now, Alabama and Georgia, that will have openings. I
know Joe Castiglione, the athletic director of Oklahoma, will have something to say about that too. Yep. Because he's had so many people make runs at his football coach and never given him up. Bob Stoops, he won't let Jeff go without a fight either. Ogilvy, who had never had a three-pointer until this year, just knocked down his 4th of the year on the other end. So the big guy having trouble inside, so decides, you know what, I'm wide open. I'm going to take this thing.
You know, and Brad, it's a good release. It's a good look. I mean, his footwork mimicked a very good shooting guard as he stepped into his shot with his right foot. A lot of big guys like that will kind of shoot it flat-footed and lock-legged. His legs from the waist down looked like a guard, and that's a good sign for someone his size on the perimeter.
You don't want to make a habit of him taking that shot, but he's capable. Alonzo G misses a free throw, and the ball kicked off G's foot, trying to get his own miss out of bounds.
You know, the other guy that I think might be sitting on that Alabama sidelines next year, had a big win last night, Mike Anderson at Missouri, with his ties to obviously UAB and home state of Alabama. I think his name is going to continue to float around in the circles. How about Oliver Purnell at Clemson? Has he maybe done all he can do at Clemson? Or could he go somewhere else and maybe take it to another level?
Tell you what, they did something last night.
They did something on Duke. That's about as good as you can put it.
Brock, back-to-back threes from the exact same spot for the junior on a Little Rock. And all of a sudden, the lead goes right back to 7.
Brock can shoot that basketball. He averaged 3 made threes a game last year in junior college.
That time, Ogilvy acted like he was 6'11", 250.
Well, did you see his response after the basket? You know, I like that response. He wasn't trying to be a tough guy. He just felt like, finally, I got one to go down. He had some passion and some personality about him. Kevin Stallings told me today at times, AJ gets a little bit too competitive in a game. And that was a sign right there that he's firing away right now.
Is a three-pointer that goes for G.
You gamble against Alabama and shrink the floor defensively like every team in this league will try to do. And they've knocked down some perimeter shots. The reason why they have that lead right now.
Ogilvy, same spot. Got it again.
Well, you might want to make it a habit.
Maybe.
But isn't the release good?
Yeah.
I mean, when it leaves his hand from our angle, which is down here with the chipmunks, it looks like it's going in every time.
And a walk. Well, Ogilvy, Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside in the last couple of trips. First of all, going against Coleman and getting that shoulder in there and powering. And there's what Jimmy was talking about, showing some fire. And then comes around and knocks down his second three-pointer of the game. So he had 3 three-pointers coming in. He's got 2 here in the first half.
Instead of Andrew James Ogilvy, I'll make that into a jump shooting Ogilvy.
Nice feed inside. Really nice pass by Tinsley. Here's Ely. And the game is down to 3 again. Crowd starting to get into it at the old Memorial Gym. In its 57th year of driving coaches crazy.
3-2 zone by Vanderbilt. It's a pretty good size zone. Beal, the smallest guy at 6'2". You see Beal run out the perimeter and look down at his feet, so it tells you they've been told don't get out beyond that three-point line.
There's a forced shot, and not a good one, but it comes out free to Brock. And now they do get a good look. That one won't go either. Coleman trying to find the handle, out of bounds to Vanderbilt. So A.J. Ogilvy, the big Aussie, knocking down his second three-pointer. We got a good game, 33-30 Alabama. All right, Ryan, here at Thursday Night Showcase, Vanderbilt trailing Alabama by 3. Jimmy's going to take us inside the play. Unique defense here.
Well, this is Beal right here for Vanderbilt, and he has been told in our zone defense, let's don't go outside the three-point line. Now watch what he does. Hold it right there. Look at him looking. He's looking down, Brad, to see, am I on the three-point line or not?
Too far out.
He's too far out, so he's going to back up. Boom. Now I'm on it, and you don't see that very often. That really caught my eye, that they have been told you stay inside or on that three-point line. Let's don't get overstretched. And Beal that time looked down to see, am I right where the coach told me? That's absorbing what the coach said in the huddle and taking it to the floor.
Here's Beal offensively. Vandy can close it to a point or tie it up if they hit a 3. Their best three-point shooter's been their big guy. He's not in there right now. And kicked out of bounds by Alabama. Shot clock at 16. There's Ogilvy. So Beal will inbound. Ely's always looking for that three-pointer, and I don't think that's exactly who Kevin Stallings wants to take a three-pointer. 5 on the shot clock. He might have to take one. There it goes.
16 seconds coming out of that dead ball on the baseline. I'm not sure Vanderbilt, all 5 guys, realized where the shot clock was.
Why is Ely constantly looking for a 3 when he hasn't hit one all year? I don't quite get that.
Something to do with his name being Festus. All goes back to Gunsmoke.
It does.
There's a tie in there somewhere with him trying to be a old-fashioned gunslinger. That's what it is.
As Festus would say, Doc, you old skidder. He's going to try another one. What's he doing out there?
Well, he's fixing to come out of the game, I believe.
He's fixing to get jailed by Matthew. That's what he's fixing to get.
Now, Chingane can shoot him.
Yeah.
But not Festus.
No. We got our Gunsmoke references in. If Jim Arness is watching out on the West Coast. James, thanks. 2:37 remaining. Coming up on Saturday. Don't forget UConn, number 1 team in the country against Michigan. That's at 6 and at 9 Eastern. Saturday Night Primetime presented by DirecTV. Memphis and Gonzaga get together out west.
That's an impactful ball game for both Memphis and Gonzaga as they step out of conference play because they dominate their conference from the month of January on. You know what? Memphis has now gone 1,070 days since a team in Conference USA has beaten them.
Wow.
That's a long
incredible.
time.
That is.
In the game for Alabama, number 23, Demetrius Jemison.
Jemison comes in and Coleman comes out. Alabama by 4. Hillman coming off, as Jimmy mentioned, career high game with 3 3-pointers out of 4 attempts in the win over Georgia, and he's given his team a 5-point lead back at 2.5 remaining in the half.
I've been impressed with Alabama's half-court defense. They've been in good position for the most part.
Tinsley got a good look, a long 3, but missed it. Torrance, underhand pass, pinned against the glass. Nice block. Back comes Vandy. Beal, pull up mid-range, got it. 35-32 with 2 to go.
Wasn't that a nice decision by Beal? He didn't go too fast and get his body out ahead of the basketball.
There's another walk by Alonzo G. Defense started this one, Jimmy.
Well, Kevin Stallings has brought in 2 outstanding freshmen that can make plays like this in Goldborn and Jeffrey Taylor. Shot blocking, 6'7", can jump multiple times quickly.
Goldborn's played a good game tonight off the bench. Vandy can make it a 1-point game again. Or tie it. They get it into the big guy, and it's stolen away by Hillman underneath. Hillman's going to take it coast to coast with a scoop layup.
Basket by Sonario Hillman.
There's a 4-point swing for you in a hurry.
He is a disruptive defender now. He's got blazing speed in his sneakers, and his hands are just as quick. He gets the steal and finishes at the rim the other way.
And foul is going to be at Vanderbilt.
We're talking about Brad Hillman, so quick with his sneakers. He's a little bit like Ty Lawson when he goes from the right side of the floor to the left side of the floor. Although Hillman's left-handed and Ty Lawson is right-handed, they both understand you can gain a little bit momentum when you change positions right there at the top of the key.
Well, the foul is on Ogilvy, his second. He's the one that hit the deck. Here he is battling, and he goes down, tangled up with Knox. He gets the foul, and he's got to get pulled with a little over a minute to go because he can't afford to pick up his 3rd foul here late in the half. Meanwhile, Mikhail Torrance gives Alabama a 7-point lead again. Now we're down under a minute. And that's going to be a foul on G. That'll be his second.
Fouls on Alabama's number 12, Alonzo G.
And they'll probably get him out of the lineup as well, as Philip Pearson doesn't want him picking up a 3rd foul either. Those are our 2 Star Watch guys sit down with 53 seconds to go, so they don't pick up a 3rd foul.
Brad, remember what Kevin Stallings told us before the ball game? His concern was just the athletes that Alabama can put on this floor. And I think we all have to keep in mind, this is an Alabama team now that was picked to win the SEC West with Ronald Steele. Obviously, Ronald Steele is not with them, but there's 10 other guys on scholarship that had a lot to do with them being picked to win the SEC West that are still playing.
Ezeli got both free throws. Maybe that's why he was itching to take 3s while he was out there. Just felt that outside shot.
He did?
Well, he got it from 15. We know that part. And then on the other end picks up a 3 foul.
I don't think you have to hard hedge on Mikhail Torrance 35 feet away from the rim.
No.
Because he's not a guy that's going to turn the corner and go to the rim and make something happen. Just kind of flatten him out, level your defense off a little bit, but certainly don't foul him that far away.
Torrance at the free throw line where he's hit 3 in a row tonight. He's an 89% career free throw shooter, so he's not going to miss many. Out of 8 Mile, Alabama. Kind of talked that one in. He thought he was going to be short with it. The Nets hung up now after that last one that he put in. 41-34.
Tinsley back in the ballgame for Vanderbilt. He comes in the last 40 seconds as an offensive weapon. Vanderbilt would love to free up number 1 for a jump shot right here.
There he goes, Beal. Nice offensive rebound. Alabama didn't box out very well, and McClellan cleaned up. Now, Alabama can play for 1 here.
And Philip Pearson having to signal his play from 94 feet away, but all the Alabama kids turned, got the play call from Philip Pearson, and here they go.
5 for Torrance. There's the shot. No good. The follow is though. Nice job staying in the air by Jemison, who's had a big first half with 7 points off the Alabama bench. And those 7 points are the difference in the ball game right now.
Boy, several times in this first half, Alabama has just ran from the perimeter to the offensive glass. This time Jemison posts up on one side and rolls off of it to the opposite side. That's a great move by Jemison, Brad, to roll from one side of the floor, the shooting side, to the weak side of the floor to be there for the cleanup.
Our Star Watch update, G with 7, Ogilvy with 8, Jemison with 7 off the bench. That's the difference in the score. 43-36 our halftime score.
Balance.
G's got 7, so does Jemison off the bench. Ogilvy with 8, Taylor with 6. And we're underway in the second half. Now Vandy will be playing toward their coach and their bench. As they're offensively on the right end of your screen. That time Ogilvy, maybe got a talking to at halftime about being a little bit stronger under the basket. He's got 10, and now we do have a double-figure score.
Brad, you know the thing that I like maybe the most from that Lane Kiffin, that whole scenario going on today, is Mike Sly immediately stepping up and taking action and calling it out and putting it in the proper perspective for everyone to understand. That guy is terrific for college sports. And you and I are blessed to be a part of the league that obviously he's in charge of.
Exactly.
He does it right.
You know, you and I talk about a little bit at halftime off the air, though. Even if Lane Kiffin was wrong and he's been reprimanded, you know the Tennessee fans are going, all right.
Yep.
And Beal with a mid-range jumper, Jermaine Beal.
Between Lane Kiffin and Bruce Pearl,
oh yeah,
they can ruffle a few feathers a little bit down there, huh?
That's right.
That's okay.
Rebound by McClellan. Beal's going to wait for his teammates. See if Ogilvy gets a touch. Taylor, offensive foul. We're talking about football recruiting, and the conference did exceptional if you listen to the so-called experts. LSU and Alabama in the top 2, Florida and Georgia in the top 10, South Carolina, Tennessee. Basically everybody in the conference is in there except Kentucky and Vanderbilt listed in the top 25. So that's how tough it is to play football in this conference. And there's Coach Johnson. And he had a nice season for Vanderbilt. They went to the Music City Bowl, Gaylord Hotels Music City Bowl, and beat BC. So Vandy had a good year in football. And they're always hanging around in basketball. Last year they were great. Set a single-season school record for victories last year with 26, and they never lost at home. This year, Kevin Stallings' team a lot younger. They're 8-4 in this building. We've talked about Memorial Gym, the uniqueness of the benches on each end, and it's tough on opponents who come in here. Vandy's a little more used to it. And there you see the Vanderbilt bench. Alabama's way down on the other end where they're facing their coach now in their front court.
Let me go back to that early football signings in this league. LSU, Russell Shepard, the #1 dual threat quarterback in the nation, to plug into their offense. Trent Richardson, the #2 running back in the nation, goes to Alabama. Jelani Jenkins, the #2 linebacker, goes to Florida. Aaron Murray, the #3 quarterback to Georgia, just stockpile talent. It makes it even more impressive what Coach Johnson does here at football, because he has the same academic standards that Kevin Stallings has to maneuver as well.
Yeah, you've been doing your homework on that whole recruiting thing.
I like that.
You like that stuff. I like to see what they do about 3 years from now.
That's a great call. That's a great call. That's my thought on this league right now as well. You can keep kicking shots at it all you want to. Wait till March when the bracket comes out, see how many teams get in, and then see how many teams from every league advances to that second weekend. That's when you find out how good your league really is.
That was a beautiful up and under by Tinsley. Didn't finish, and 2 shots in close. Kevin Stallings still looking for a foul call and didn't get it. That was a nice break by the Commodores. Tinsley went up and under all that traffic, just couldn't get enough spin on it to make it drop.
I think Alabama's played with some nice poise on the road, Brad. I mean, not one Alabama player has ever won in this building.
There, the coach takes a charge. Remember when your guys are coming towards you, Philip Pearson? Well, that's not one of your guys, and he did take a charge. Gotta love that.
Remember his first time he got to start as an Alabama player as a walk-on at Tennessee, and he got in a little fisticuff with Allen Houston. So he's got some fight in him.
He's a feisty guy.
Yeah. Very good friend of Mark Godfrey. He told me today he talks to him right now, 2 or 3 times a week, checking in on him, making sure he's okay. You and I certainly wish Mark Godfrey nothing but future success, which I think he will have. He wants to be a head coach again starting next year. I think some school will snatch him up.
Too good a coach not to be coached.
Yes.
3 minutes into the second half, a 5-point game. And offensive foul on Green, I think. That's the call. That's 3. Michael Green picks up his 3rd. So we'll keep an eye on that. Jeffrey Taylor's got 3 for Vanderbilt. And he's not on the floor right now. Beal waited for that ball, got a great look, and drained it. He knew right where he wanted to be. They rotated the ball to him perfectly. He caught it in rhythm, and he's got 10. Well, there's the answer on the other end. He doesn't let you rest much, does he? No,
he doesn't. He's really playing with a purpose, like you'd expect every senior in the country to be playing with this time of the year.
They get it down. One-hand hook shot on the baseline by Ogilvie. Doesn't drop. And he's going to be fouled as he goes baseline.
Let's go back to that last basket by Jermaine Beal. He gets a terrific screen by Ogilvie. Just enough of a shoulder screen by the big Aussie to free up Beal. It was a set call play by Kevin Stallings. Kevin Stallings knows how to work this building, and he will go to more set call plays in the second half when his team is right in front of him than he had in the first half.
Jermaine Beal, a career high in that win over Auburn, including 7 threes. So he's feeling it as he was in that ball game. Tony Green with the whistle. He's going to give the ball to Alabama. Crossover dribble, and Torrance almost took himself out of his own shoes. Ogilvie got the rebound. He hung with it, almost went out of bounds. Here's a 3 in the corner, and it goes. Hinkle knocks it down. And all of a sudden, it's a 1-point game.
Brett, how about Hinkle? He has not practiced the last 4 days. He's been in the infirmary with the flu.
Well, he just let that one flew from 3-point range. And
I sent him a text message. I said, congratulations on your first win. You only trail Pat Summitt by 998.
Going to be, well, it might still be 998 if he holds this lead, 49-48. The lead could have gone away right there had that shot gone. Interesting, Pat Summitt was saying that Monday night, going into the game against Oklahoma, she got a text message at lunchtime. It was from Andy Landers, the Georgia coach, and it said, if you don't beat Oklahoma tonight, I'm going to be really ticked, I guess is the word you could put in there. It said something else, because he didn't want to be the 1,000th victim, which is what's going to happen tonight, apparently.
A great story. Pat Summitt in her first year as a head coach scrimmaged Andy Landers in a preseason scrimmage, and Andy Landers' team actually beat Pat Summitt. And he was wanting to go to a high school football game that night, but he couldn't leave the gym until Pat was done with her girls. They were still running sprints as he left the building and said, "Coach, close the door and turn off the lights when you're done." She was serious about it from day one, and she still is.
That's for sure.
In the game for Alabama, number 1, Anthony Brock.
Anthony Brock comes in, and Mikhail Torrance goes out. Brock is a lightning bug out there. Had a couple of three-pointers in the first half. Real quick, junior college star a year ago, Jimmy mentioned. Jemison leaves 2 of them out there and leaves the door open for Vandy to take the lead. They've only one lead tonight, that by 3, way back when it was 12-9.
Ruby should get another touch. Good things have happened when he's gotten it.
And they've got the lead. There's the good things that happen. And he's got a chance for a three-point play.
You talk about trusting your offense. If you're A.J. Ogilvy, trust your offense to bring you the basketball from one side of the floor to the other. Brad, Ogilvy did not chase the basketball as a lot of post guys do. He stood on the weak side of the floor, trusted the offense to reverse it to him, and now he gets to the free throw stripe, and Vandy has a lead.
14 points. He can make it 15 here. He hit more, I should say, he shot more free throws last year than anybody else in the Southeastern Conference. Rims out, a chance for a three-point play, but it is the first lead since back at 12-9 in the first half. Vandy by 1. Here's G working around a pick. Vanderbilt doing a nice job defensively as they bring it back on top to Brock with 9 on the shot clock. Nice entry pass to Green. Ogilvy blocked it. Shot clock's going to expire. That's good defense. Not only blocked the shot, they kept the ball a hot potato long enough that when it finally went up again by Hillman, the shot clock had expired.
It is out there man-to-man, and it looked like Alabama was going to sneak one in around the rim, but Ogilvy comes over as a rim protector and saves a guaranteed 2 points. So he is influencing the game right now on both ends of the floor.
Here he is on the high post. He's an excellent passer. There it goes. Tinsley had it pinned under the rim.
With the last 60 seconds for A.J. Ogilvy, scored, got fouled, blocks a shot at one end, and now becomes a point guard on the other. The timing of that cut is so impressive. Well, Green came over, got it up top, but on those back cuts, Brad, the timing is what is so critical. You can't go too early or too late.
That one went to the possession area, which gave it to Alabama, if you're wondering about that. Basketball being pinned against the rim, and now an offensive foul on Alabama working against Ogilvy, and it's Justin Knox.
Ogilvy is the most competitive guy on the floor right now. He gets into it with Knox a little bit, and Knox finally gets caught for the elbow. And Ogilvy right now is taking control of this basketball game.
Ogilvy got the first one in, and the officials didn't call it. Second one, maybe a little bit of Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor on the flop, but he'll take it. Right now, he's the leading man, and he had his block, but he's going to the free throw line. Foul is going to be on Coleman. That'll be his third. Don't forget, doubleheader on Saturday on ESPN, starting off at 6 o'clock. Number 1, UConn taking on the Wolverines of Michigan. Then at 9, it's Saturday Night Primetime, presented by DirecTV. Number 15, Memphis. Number 18, Gonzaga. Get together.
There's Michigan with good wins this year over UCLA and Duke, which got them in the coach class of the Jet. Now they're out there in the curbside, but if they knock off number 1 UConn, then they have at least snuck their way back into the standby line. There's so many things are going on at that airport right now.
Yeah.
Air traffic controls, and I need to check your bag and all kinds of things.
Your bag's too big for the overhead?
Yeah.
2-point Vandy advantage with 13:25 to go. Alabama with a chance to tie or regain the lead. They have led by as many as 8. They were up 7 at the break.
They had to eliminate the peanuts on my Jet because of the budget cuts.
Yeah,
going through
it's a bad economy.
Yeah. There's your shooter, Hinkle again.
Ogilvy out on top. They work it around him on the top to try to get it back into him low. They can't. Tinsley got his man in the air, though, with a good fake. And he misses. Ogilvy with 11 points. 13 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 and knocks down a jumper.
That was a great sell of a shot, wasn't it, Brad?
Yep.
He really looked like a shot. And too many guys get in a hurry on those shot fakes, and he did not.
Vandy's biggest lead of the night. Up 4. Green. And a whistle and a foul on Vanderbilt underneath.
Vanderbilt's number 33, Steve Chengang, that is
Chengang picks up his second.
We come back to Vanderbilt one more time this year on a Super Tuesday when the Kentucky Wildcats roll into town. And that will be Vince Gill's last opportunity to see you and I this year. I want him to know that we're expecting him to be here for the Kentucky game.
That's right. Vince normally has a seat about 15 yards from us.
And number 25, Andrew Steele.
He's a busy guy. He's writing songs. He's got better things to do than worry about what we're doing.
I know one of his songs is one of my daughter's favorite songs right now.
It's hard to kiss the lips, but never mind. Kennedy knows the words.
He does. Now Ogilvy's not in the lineup. So Beal is your primary offensive guy. Tinsley can break loose for a 3.
Oh boy.
Well, but Brad, he can shoot it.
Yes.
He's different than Festus.
Right.
This guy played the face-up spot the entire time growing up learning the game of basketball, so they're comfortable with him knocking down threes.
And he trying to come up with a loose ball. They do. Alabama turns it over. Beal behind the back to Taylor. Alabama might want a timeout. Instead, they get another turnover. 10-2 Vanderbilt run. All of a sudden, everything going right for the hometown gang. All right, Ryan. Ryan's a busy cat tonight, isn't he? 58-51 here. Vandy with his biggest lead of the ball game.
He was in the studio with me last night and stayed a little longer than I did, so he's going on that 5-hour energy thing.
I was going to say, he's got to sleep sometime.
No, that's on Saturday. I love these numbers during Pat Summitt's career, her tenure. There have been 7 Russian heads of state, 4 popes, and 13 New York Yankee managers.
And none of them popes? 4 popes. It's hard to have 4 popes while you're coaching.
And none of those heads of state or popes or managers were successful as Pat Summitt.
They didn't win 1,000 games, I know that.
But Alabama had 4 made threes in the first half. They have not made a 3 in the second half. They're the big part of this turnaround.
Alabama shooting 25%. It just went down. It just went down again. Ogilvy with a block shot. 25% from the floor in the second half. It's not going to win you many games. Nice defense by, I think the Vanderbilt defense has been the difference really in the second half.
It has. And you know what? Ogilvy has been the trigger guy defensively. He has blocked a couple of shots already in the second half. He's discouraged some. He's gotten some tough traffic rebounds.
He got 2 there.
Yep. You know, it's really unusual when your 6'11" guy is your most competitive guy. That's kind of a rare combination, but that's what Ogilvy is.
If you took Jody Meeks out of Kentucky, Patrick Patterson might be 2 for Kentucky.
Those 2 guys are tough, and for anyone to question Kentucky's toughness with Patterson and Meeks on the floor, I'm not buying it.
I'm not either. Taylor is fouled. So he got in traffic underneath.
That'll on Alabama's number 32.
Michael Green's got 4 fouls. He's already heading the other way. And I mean the bench to the left.
You know, I look down at Philip Pearson right now, interim head coach, knows that he only has X number of games left in that head coaching position. It's really a unique feeling for an interim guy. I mean, his staff right now, where are their thoughts? You know, where's my job next year? I mean, it's a tough economy, and jobs aren't easy to find no matter what profession you're in. So here they are battling, trying to keep this thing together, trying to make sure these kids that they're responsible for have the best opportunities to succeed the next 6 weeks. And then what happens after that? So there's a lot of things going through the minds of those Alabama players, those assistant coaches. I salute Phil and that staff right now. for the job they're doing. I watched them today in their walkthrough, and I think they did an outstanding job. And it is not easy when there's interim tied to your tag.
I think fans, as Hillman misses a three, overlook that sometimes. They don't think about all the guys that are losing their jobs eventually and the families that are involved. So just rooting for a coaching change, if you're a fan, there's a lot more behind the scenes that we probably get to see at practice and that type of thing that maybe a lot of people don't. Tinsley for three. Clanged it off the back iron. Still 8-point advantage. And Ogilvy's going to be called for his third foul.
The foul is on Vanderbilt's number 4, A.J. Ogilvy. That is his third.
You know, I haven't talked to Tinsley from Vanderbilt, who's a really, really good shooter for a freshman, about what he looks at when he shoots. But the more I watch him on film and in person, when he misses long like he just did right there, which tells me that he's probably looks through the rim to the back part of the rim of his vision, which is what most great shooters do. Seldom does he miss short, which will tell you he's looking at the front part of the rim.
He's got 48 threes this year, which is pretty darn good. So you know that he's got the eye from the outside. Alabama's going to need some outside shooting pretty soon. Trying to get back in this ball game. They'll take it inside, miss the shot. Ogilvy fights for the rebound and gets it out. Taylor and Tinsley. And now wide side to Beal. Got it. Torrance underneath is fouled. No one's going to go on Chingay. I think it is. It's his third. That was nice ball movement by Vandy on that last transition, and a pull-up three by Beal. It's just so pretty to watch, even though, as you said, we're the Chipmunks looking at their ankles when they're coming down court.
Yeah, watch the spacing. When you have two guards like Beal and Tinsley, hold it right here, guys, that can run the floor and both shoot it. They do a great job of not getting attracted to the rim. They space off well on the opposite side of the floor. And Tinsley knows it when he has the ball, and Beal knows it when he has the ball. They work grip very well off of each other.
That was two freshmen bringing it down and then saying, let's get it out to the old guy for three. Yep. Torrance got both free throws. And by old, I mean a junior in Jermaine Beal. There aren't any old guys on this team.
Far and few in this league. We've already talked about that. Showed that graphic earlier. The number of points out of seniors in this league right now, astonishing low.
How about Jermaine Beal? 15 for Beal, coming off a career-high game against Auburn, and he's picking up where he left off. Nice spin by Hillman inside.
Basket by Scenario Hillman.
And there's the two freshmen again. This time Hillman gets in the way of the pass, and Tinsley has to bring it back into the front court and had it stripped from behind by Hillman. Nice defense. And Alabama gets a transition basket from Torrance out of it.
Brad, you have to know when Scenario Hillman scores a basket like he did on the previous possession, he's going to really come down defensively for the next 15 or 20 seconds and gamble and overplay. He's a guy that offense ignites his defense, and he scored 2 points and then comes down for a steal. You have to know that about Hillman.
Beal bunts by Jemison. With 7:54 remaining in the ball game, Vanderbilt has taken a 7-point lead with 7:54 remaining, trying to make it 10 straight wins over Bama at Memorial Gym. 1,000 mark.
Shoot the bonus.
Hey, there's no sign of her letting up either.
No. Here's Tinsley for three, and he got it.
Good call, wasn't it, by Kevin Stallings coming out the out of bounds. Draw it up, execute it, knock down the shot.
67-57. Tinsley with 10 points. Inside, Hillman goes in, and he's fouled.
But you can't let Hillman's left hand beat you in a basketball game. His left hand is as good as anybody's left hand in this league in that half-court attack in the rack, and you've got to get on that left hand and make him go multiple bounces with his right.
Hillman at the line as a free throw shooter, 72%, but he almost never misses when he gets in a game-type situation that the game is on the line. Under 3 minutes, let's say, and the score's within 10, which this is. He's been 17 out of 18 in those numbers, so with this game not down to that 3-minute mark, but at the 7.5-minute mark, he cuts into the lead to make it 8. Nice feed by Tinsley down low. Vanderbilt working it around the perimeter, using some clock, down to 10 on the shot clock. Beal, a triple. And he's going to shoot. Oh, my goodness. He doesn't have to shoot 3 free throws. I was going to say he's going to have to earn them from the free throw line. He's trying not to laugh. Watch this one.
Boing.
Top of the backboard and down through.
Good strength by Beal, which you have to have when you get fouled on a long three-point shot like that. It's also a sign that you have a lot of strength in your shot, a lot of lift, because he lifted right through the contact.
So he had a chance for a 4-point play, didn't get it. On the other end, Justin Knox is going to go to the free throw line. McClellan picks up his second. Here comes Ogilvy back in, or set to come back in, I should say, for the Commodores.
Justin Knox at the line.
We get to see everybody that's at the scorers table ready to come back in, because the scorers table's on the same side we are. And most of these guys sit down right in front of us, and even sitting, they're taller than a lot of the fans in here. So we have to look around them to see what's going on.
Sometimes they'll come over and tell us who they're going
I know.
for.
They go 3 for 4. Yeah, I'm like, got it. Go ahead. Go on in. Knox got 1 of 2. 10-point Vandy lead. Ogilvy back in to go with Beal and Taylor, McClellan and Tinsley. Lob, Ogilvy slapped away from behind. Vanderbilt bench wanted a foul call there, didn't get it, and now it's tipped to the backboard by Taylor. So Alabama ball.
Remember the interview we did with Philip Pearson last week in Fayetteville before his first game? His goal for this club, play together and play hard. And they've done it again tonight. I know they're down 10, now 7, but they've played together and they've played hard. That's all you can ask.
All 3 of his field goals are triples tonight. And that was a big one.
You got to go to Ogilvy. As patient as you have to be, 4 and White has to get a touch, because he's at least going to get himself to the free throw stripe, Brad.
Which he does as well as anybody in the conference. Thought about another 3. He's hit a couple tonight. Now he lost the handle. And Alabama comes up with a loose ball. And he turns it over. Tied with a chance to turn the tide a little bit. In and out for Hillman. And now Beal bumped by Brock. Brock didn't mean to. He tried to put the brakes on and couldn't stop himself. Tomorrow night NBA doubleheader on ESPN. Coverage starts with a Kia NBA shoot-around at 7:30. And Chauncey Billups and the Nuggets take on the Washington Wizards. And at 10:30, Golden State takes on Steve Nash and the Phoenix Suns. NBA Friday on ESPN and also on ESPN360.com. And Jermaine Beal's going to be at the free throw line once all the substitutions are done. Hinkle comes in. Tinsley goes out. And Jermaine Beal, 3 threes this half. He's got 18 points and 8 assists. Well, back-to-back misses by Vanderbilt from the free throw line. There's still a 7-point game. Alabama's still got plenty of time to do something about it. Tough entry pass, and Green is fouled in the paint.
That was on Vanderbilt's number 33, Steve Chapek.
You know, sometimes we can make basketball a little bit more complicated than it really is, because I'm listening to about a 70-year-old lady behind us. When Vanderbilt's playing defense, here's what she keeps hollering. Stay on them. Stay on them. And she's right. It just boils down to that. Just stay on your guy. Stay on him.
You know, we got a spare headset. Should we turn around and give it to her?
Oh, man, I like
Then we have a 3-man booth.
Then we'd have a 3-man booth.
3-person
But
booth.
she's accurate in her analysis. Very simple. Stay on him.
Well,
somewhere back in there.
Alabama's staying in it right now. They made an 11-point lead evaporate down to 5 with 5.5 to go. I don't know if our finish in this one could be as good as South Carolina and Florida was Tuesday. But it's getting closer. Taylor. Nice job to avoid An offensive foul hung in the air and kissed it off the glass.
Now Vanderbilt's going to go zone because Alabama has not made a three in the second half until Brock stuck one a second ago, and there he's free again.
He probably should have taken it.
Yes, he should have.
There it goes. Got another one.
That's why he should have taken it like you said.
I guess he knew where he wanted to be on the floor. Maybe that wasn't his spot. He's got 4 threes. He only had 6 coming into the game. 72-68, and it's getting quiet in here. The 11-point lead is down to 4.
Time to get Ogilvie a touch, though, still. Get him the basketball.
Tinsley, his man goes down. There he gets it to him. And he's fouled by Coleman, who picks up his 4th.
And Brock is only 5'9". And, boy, he does a good job of driving the basketball and popping himself back out. He got himself open. And when you're 5'9", kind of like Devin Downey was the other night, you have to have a quick release. You have to explode in your jump shot every time and shoot it at its highest point. And Anthony Brock does all 3 of those things.
His career high came against FAMU. And he's 1 point off it right now. And Ogilvie continues to struggle from the free throw line. He's only 1 out of 4 in this half. He's got a double-double again, though. 15 points and 11 rebounds. Got the second.
From this point on, both teams.
5-point game, 4:20 to go. Both teams in double bonus from here on out. Green needs some help. And threw it into the backcourt. Turnover, Alabama.
Backcourt violation.
Well, Michael Green got down there and he was running out of real estate. Thought he could get it out to Brock, and the pass errantly went into the backcourt. Alabama turns it over.
You know, during mistakes in this ballgame for Alabama, my eyes have gone to Philip Pearson to watch his response. He stays very calm and very positive. Something I think he has to do right now with the fragile state of his kids.
Ogilvie powers one in. Chance for a three-point play. And a foul on Knox.
Hasn't he competed well, Brad, in the second half?
Boy, he has. It's just like there was, I think when he hit the three-pointer, and then he finally got one you said to go underneath with a muscle move in the first half. It's like the light came on.
It did.
And now he's asking the crowd to get into it.
Look at this guy.
He's doing everything. He's got my posse alive on the far side.
He was a quiet, meek guy just trying to find his way around campus a few years ago, and now he's directing the student section.
Brock, long ball. Got another one. Wow. He was way out on Broadway when he took that one. Career high, 5 threes for the little guy. And he single-handedly, much as Devin Downey did, and Jimmy just mentioned it, with South Carolina keeping his team in the game.
Well, you know what? Vanderbilt better start face guarding him now all over the floor, because he is a jump shot waiting to happen if he just gets a crack. You cannot let Anthony Brock touch the basketball anymore if you're Vanderbilt.
McClellan got great position, didn't get the ball to go, neither did Ogilvie. 5-point game, and Alabama with the ball. Here they come. If they don't throw it away, they got a chance to cut into the lead. Torrance, kick out, Steele, got a 3. Andrew Steele, we're talking about. Ronald's little brother. Makes it a 2-point game with 3 to go.
Philip Pearson has handled his squad well, Brad, in this ball game. They had a chance a couple of times to get frustrated, and he didn't do it as a head coach. So as a result, his players have not gotten frustrated.
Beal saves a turnover right there. And now on the drive, kicks it out around to Tinsley for 3. And a foul. Going to be on Alabama. But boy, have they come storming from 11 back. Courtesy of first Anthony Brock with his 5th 3. And then Andrew Steele, baseline triple. 2:41 to go. Don't go anyplace. It's getting good, Ryan. It was an 11-point game, 70-59, but the three-pointers have started to drop for Alabama, something that really hadn't happened much this year. But look at what they've done tonight, including 3 this half by Anthony Brock and a big one by Andrew Steele a moment ago, and now all of a sudden a 2-point game.
So they're now 8 out of 14, Bama is, from the three-point line in this ball game. And again, they came in averaging 3.8 makes per game in conference play.
Jeffrey Taylor at the free throw line. He's been about the best free throw shooter tonight for the Commodores. 5 out of 6 from the stripe. Until there. 11 points on the night.
Man, he was actually going forward when he shot that ball. Normally I talk about guys trying to fade away. He was leaning too much into it.
He missed them both. And that means Alabama can tie or take the lead this trip. They might want to shoot a three. What the heck?
They might want to face guard Brock. You cannot let this number one get this basketball in his hands if you're Vanderbilt.
They turn it over. Ogilvie trying to go coast to coast. He's going to the free throw line. And Knox picks up the foul. Nice overplay by the big guy.
Just a high school hairy pass out of Alonzo G. A senior that doesn't make a lot of mistakes like that, especially late in the ball game. And Ogilvie read it. He's a much better athlete than people realize. Just his length and taking the ball. Boy, 70 feet on the bounce, but he can't shoot free throws right now.
No, he can't. We've seen so many teams kill themselves by missing from the free throw line this year. And he missed both of those. That's 4 straight that Vanderbilt, 5 straight they missed from the line. G going for the tie, didn't get it. Battle for the rebound. The loose ball comes to Beal. There'll be less than 2 minutes remaining when Vanderbilt takes its next shot. But they've missed 5 straight free throws, and their lead has been dwindled down to 2. They're not even going to get a chance. Brock with a steal. And Brock throws it up off the glass, hoping for a foul. Tinsley's going to save it. Andy's got to calm down right now.
Alabama really extending their pressure, and it's paid off again almost with a steal. You're wondering if Ogilvie really wants the basketball right now with those missed free throws weighing on his mind.
Yeah.
Normally right now he would be demanding that basketball.
Tinsley going to have to force a 3. Hit the front of the rim. That's a fresh shot clock. Vanderbilt got the rebound. It's going to go down to the final minute. These two teams, the last 3 times they played, 2 of them have gone to overtime. That one knocked out of bounds by Alonzo G. With exactly a minute remaining.
Watch Philip Person on the miss, Brad. He knows we got a chance. Get the rebound. Get the rebound.
Oh, he's got the body lean going, the right leg way out there. It still didn't help. Jimmy, we're halfway through the league season in the SEC. We will be officially in a minute. These are your midseason award winners, huh?
Well, I would go with Jody Meeks and Marcus Thornton as co-player of the year right now. Tariqa White, the freshman of the year. He's the reason why that Ole Miss squad has the wins in this league that they do with 4. Devin Downey, the most impactful guy to this point in the SEC has been Devin Downey. Again, they were picked last in the SEC East, and they're sitting there with a NCAA invite on the plate right now if it was to go out today. He is an impactful young man.
He had 33 the other night in the loss to Florida in a thrilling game at the O-Dome, and it looks like this one's going right down to the wire as well. 8 players have scored for Alabama. 9 players have scored in the game for Vanderbilt. 5 players in double digits for Alabama, and 4 for Vandy. So nice balance. A lot of hard work is going to come down to the last 60 seconds right here. And this is the guy you want to handle it.
I would think Ogilvie would have to be involved in some areas.
Tinsley to Beal. A 3. Rimmed it out. Another rebound by McClellan, though. Forced it up there, and he didn't get it. And Green now swinging some elbows. Alabama's got the ball and a chance to tie or lead. There's about a 7-second difference on the game clock and the shot clock, and it's an Alabama timeout.
30-second timeout.
The anguish over in the posse. The posse, hey, Vanderbilt still got a 2-point lead. Fans can't give up on them. Coming up next here on ESPN2, Thursday Night Showcase presented by T. Rowe Price continues as we head to the Big East. John McDonough and Bill Raftery will have all the action from Prudential Center in Newark, St. John's, and Seton Hall. Sean and Raft waiting. 36.6 seconds remaining. You can see there's a 7.6 second difference. Shot clock and game clock. Now, if you're Alabama, who do you want to handle it?
Well, if you're Philip Pearson, first of all, you have gone from making suggestions to making the decision. And I think right now you try to play for the win. You don't want the thing to go into overtime. So if you have a three-point arsenal shot that you haven't used yet to free up Brock, look for that as an option. The best option Alabama has is Alonzo G climbing on an offensive glass and at least getting this thing in overtime off of a miss.
If it's inside, Green is the guy that'll probably want to touch it. Here he is. He kicks it right back out. And now Brock. You better crowd him. You better crowd him. Hillman in between the legs with a dribble. Brock with a three, and it's way short. Vanderbilt has got the ball. Auburn people are cheering right now, I guess. 18.8.
Boy, how did Brock get open, though? The most dangerous guy, and you help up the floor. If you're Hinkle, he hadn't practiced all week long, and he gambles off of Brock, and Brock had a wide-open measured three. Brad, probably the cleanest look of a three he's had all half.
It's the only three he's taken from a baseline, though.
Yeah.
Everything else has come on the wing or on the top of the key, and that time he was well short. So now still Alabama's got an opportunity to put Vandy on the free throw line where they've kind of struggled tonight, especially in the second half. One possession game.
I'm sure Philip Pearson talked about getting their defense set up. You have time to go for a steal right now. You can gamble. And if we can't gamble, who do you try to funnel the ball to? I tried to think you try to funnel the ball in the hands of A.J. Ogilvy. Where is his mind right now after missing free throws the last 4 or 5 minutes?
Tinsley is going to be the trigger man. They put Ogilvy, the big guy, in the backcourt in case he has trouble. He can lob it to him because Brock's the guy that's on him right now, giving away about 1.5 feet. Now they switch. Tinsley, they'll have nobody on Tinsley. And nice play by G to knock it away from Ogilvy. So they'll have to try it again. About a half second off the clock. McClellan's going to come in, and Hinkle will go out. And now they change the guy that'll bring it in, and it will be Darshawn McClellan.
Vanderbilt will time out the burn if they can't get it in. Call a timeout. Don't gamble on it.
And immediately they foul Beal. Now the problem for Vanderbilt, they're 4 out of 14 from the free throw line in the second half. And Alabama, we talked about their struggles. Haven't won in here in almost 2 decades.
At the line for Vanderbilt,
So Jermaine Beal, 82% free throw shooter. He missed his last 2 in this half. Not that time.
Watch his eyes. I don't like what his eyes do, Brad, after he releases the basketball. His eyes watch the ball. And when I teach shooting in summer camps, I tell kids, once that ball leaves your hands, there's nothing you can do about the ball. Focus in on your target. Watch his eyes.
Got them both.
We got them both anyways.
On ESPN right now, bonus coverage with Pat Summitt going for win number 1,000. If you want to watch the end of that, we got a big finish yet to come here, except Alabama almost threw it away. 4-point game, 9.6 seconds remaining.
No reason to call a timeout right now for Alabama. Right in front of Philip Pearson, he can tell them exactly what he wants.
They need 2 scores. G might get 1. Nope. They hit the side of the backboard, and Alabama is going to turn it over to Vanderbilt with 6.8 remaining.
But Brad, if Vanderbilt got a piece of that basketball, that should be Alabama basketball. And that's what Philip Pearson's arguing on the baseline.
He's saying it was tipped on the shot by G. Let's see if we can determine whether or not it was. Ooh. Really close.
Yeah, that's a good look by our baseline camera.
And we got a whistle away from the inbounds pass. And a foul on Alabama.
Battles on Alabama's
Philip
number
Pearson
12,
still
Alonzo
feeling
G.
like that Vanderbilt was the last hand to touch this basketball. Look at the very top right there. And he
Did the
may have
trajectory changes? It's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good look. And he's saying
Line for Vanderbilt, A.J. Ogilvy,
that it was. That's not going to be the call. And if Ogilvy can hit a couple of free throws, lights are out at Memorial Gym. There goes one. We understand Pat Summitt has just beaten Georgia. Our congratulations to Coach Summitt on victory number 1,000. Remarkable.
She is as competitive as any person I've ever been around. And I've been around a lot of competitive dudes. She can hang with the best of them.
Torrance. It's 10 straight over Alabama in Memorial Gym. Coming from 7 down at halftime to win 79-74.